issue now that Andrew Cuomo is bringing up in New York is that he is a Ugandan citizen. Uganda is a country where they kill homosexuals.
So somebody who is a dual citizen can't be mayor of New York, or?
I would renounce, if I was the dual citizen with a country whose policy, government policy, was we kill homosexuals, yeah, I would renounce that citizenship. I don't, and to not, and also,
I think that is buying into a fear. I think that is buying into a fear framework that is not
fear
good.
Of killing homosexuals.
It's not good for the country. It's not.
Something broke open on HBO this weekend, and nobody saw it coming from this direction. Not from a conservative pundit, not from a Republican strategist, from a man who has spent his entire career defending the left, mocking the right, and holding the Democratic Party like it was the last sane institution standing. Bill Maher walked out under those studio lights and didn't perform. He confessed. And what spilled out of that confession lit up every corner of the internet within minutes. This wasn't comedy. This wasn't provocation for ratings. This was a reckoning, delivered by the one voice the left can't simply dismiss, can't cancel, can't label a fox plant. And the further this monologue went, the more uncomfortable the room became. Because he wasn't just criticizing a candidate, he was diagnosing a party in freefall. And he had the receipts.
Democrats seem to be having this debate whether or not Mayor Mamdani is a socialist or a democratic socialist. Let me settle it. He's a straight-up communist. How do I know this? Well, I'm reading between the lines when one of his major advisors says, elect more communists.
That right there is the kind of moment political handlers have nightmares about. Because Maher didn't manufacture the attack came pre-assembled, straight from the mouths of the people closest to the candidate, the inner circle, the advisors, the true believers with their names in print and their ideology on the record. And the word they chose wasn't progressive. It wasn't reform. It was the word that still carries the weight of Cold War bunkers and bread lines and people risking their lives to cross a border in the wrong direction. Maher read it back to the audience without blinking. And that's the thing about a critic from inside the family. The damage lands differently. A Republican says the same sentence and half the country changes the channel. Maher says it, and suddenly the people who never would have listened are leaning forward.
A belief system. He's allowed to believe it, and people are allowed to vote for it. But if liberals deny it, like he's just going through a goth phase, they're going to lose more elections. This is not a communist country. And this is the pendulum never lands in the middle problem I'm always about. Really, the choices we get here are either the worst version of crony capitalism or communism, either a side deal for the Trump family every time he does business overseas, or the lady who says, impoverish the white middle class. Oh yeah, there's a great campaign slogan.
And here's where Maher went from commentator to surgeon. Because he wasn't just calling out a candidate, he was exposing the machinery running behind the candidate, the people shaping the agenda, the people who would be sitting in rooms making decisions that affect millions of lives. And their stated public on-the-record positions weren't fringe blog posts from anonymous accounts. They were declarations. Property is oppression. Ownership is a weapon. The very concept of a family buying a home, building something, passing it down, reframed as an act of violence. Maher didn't spin it. He just repeated it. And the silence that followed in that studio was its own kind of verdict.
Matters that the mayor stands by, and so I assume stands with, someone who says things like, if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize private property, it's over. Seize private property. Home ownership is racist. Elect more communists. Private property, especially home ownership, is a weapon of white supremacy. Really? Even among the 20 million black Americans who own their...
Then Maher did something that separated this monologue from every other political rant of the year. He didn't just argue philosophy. He pointed at the scoreboard. History has run this experiment. Not once, not twice, but across decades and continents and entirely different cultures, and the results don't change based on who's running it or what they call it. The lights that go dark, the shelves that go empty, the millions who pack whatever fits in a bag and walk toward any border that will take them. That's not theory. That's footage. That's satellite imagery. That's a data set written in human suffering. And Maher held it up like evidence in a courtroom and asked the simplest, most devastating question a person can ask after watching the same outcome repeat itself across generations. Why would this time be different?
Kids think that stuff that happened before their appearance on the planet didn't really happen, but it did. We've run this experiment many times, and the results are always obvious. Here's capitalist South Korea at night from space. Here's socialist North Korea. Yeah. In 1990, Venezuela was wealthier than Poland. But then Poland, finally free of Soviet-style economics, went all in on capitalism. And now their economy is as big as Japan. And people there have high wages, low inflation, cars, vacations, homes. Meanwhile, Venezuela traded capitalism for Hugo Chavez's socialism for the 21st century, which turned out to be like socialism in the last century or any century. It turned one of Latin America's richest countries into one of its poorest. Low wages, high inflation, shortages, outages, 8 million people.
But here's where Maher earned something most political commentators never do: credibility through honesty. Because he stopped. He looked at the generation being handed this ideology, and he didn't dismiss them. He acknowledged the wound underneath the radicalism. Young people aren't reading Lenin because they're bored. They're reading him because rent is an emergency, groceries are a crisis, and the traditional markers of stability, a home, a savings account, some version of security, feel like myths their parents told them about a country that no longer exists. The pain is real. Maher said that out loud. What he refused to do was pretend that the medicine being sold matched the diagnosis, and that distinction between honoring the frustration and rejecting the con is what made this moment cut through every other voice in the room.
Come home. Problem is, Gen Z thinks socialism's wired and capitalism's tired and billionaires are what's for dinner. And who can blame them? If you're 30 and still sharing a bathroom with roommates, capitalism isn't working for you. People will reject any economic system where there's strange hair on the soap. No one wants to be approaching middle age and still writing their name on food before they put it in the fridge. So they're quiet quitting capitalism and texting socialism that they're down to.
And then the footage arrived. Not from an opposition research file, not from a Republican attack ad, from the movement's own events, captured on their own cameras, shared by their own people. And the country watched. Jazz hands where applause used to be. Scent policies at political rallies. COVID protocols in the middle of a competitive election cycle, while working-class voters in swing states were deciding whether to show up at all. Maher didn't editorialize. He didn't have to. The contrast was already doing the work, because somewhere in Virginia, a Democrat ran a completely different race. No manifestos, no ideological purity tests, no sensory accommodation guidelines. Just a message that sounded like it came from a functioning adult, and she won. The blueprint exists. The party just keeps ignoring it.
You know, at this year's DSA convention, or as it's commonly known, Comic-Con, get this, you had to submit a photo of a negative COVID test to get in. In 2025. Yeah, no one wants to do that shit again. We've had enough of Trump's macho and also enough of pussy politics. Guy couldn't help himself. These democratic socialists at another of their conventions, they were told to make jazz hands instead of clapping, lest some delegate suffer sensory overload. And also, and I'm not joking, they were told not to be wearing, any aggressive scents.
Please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because that's going to be difficult for people.
Oh, for this. Really? This is who the Democrats are thinking of following. Chuck Schumer ain't perfect, but at least he doesn't crumple into a heap when confronted with Chanel number.
What Maher constructed next wasn't a political argument, it was a map. And it showed the same ordinary American trapped between two sets of people who have completely stopped thinking about them. On one side, a governing philosophy built around deals, access, and enriching whoever is closest to the throne. On the other, an ideological program so disconnected from lived experience that it treats a family's home as a moral problem to be solved. And in the middle, everyone else. The people running the numbers at the end of the month. The people choosing between the electric bill and the grocery list. Maher wasn't asking for perfection. He was asking for basic coherence. For one voice in the Democratic Party capable of speaking to those people without making them feel like the enemy. The fact that he struggled to name that voice, that was the part of the silence the cameras couldn't cut away from.
Is saying don't ever use the word socialist again, and one is saying,
I am a democratic socialist!
Clear, huh? So how do we decide who's right? Well, it turns out we don't really have to flip a coin. We have the evidence. In 2024, 13 Democrats won. In districts, Trump also won. All moderates. This isn't rocket science. All the left-leaning think tanks have done autopsies on 2024, and they all came up with the same message: move to the center. Even the New York Times, which did so much to promote woke politics, now says the partisans are wrong. Moving to the center is the way to win. And Democrats should recognize the party moved too far left on social issues after Obama left office. Gosh, if only someone had been saying.
Then came the confirmation from an unexpected source. Not a pundit, not a pollster, but a sitting senator sitting right there on that couch laying out what the exit polls had already been screaming for 2 years. The working class didn't get confused. The young men didn't get deceived. They made a calculation. They looked at a party that had spent years telling them their instincts were dangerous, their identity was a problem, their presence in certain conversations was itself a form of harm, and they left. Quietly, permanently. Precinct by precinct, county by county. And the wing of the party now holding the loudest microphone isn't course-correcting. It's amplifying the exact message that opened the door. Maher has been pointing at this collapse for years. The evidence is now measurable. The question he ended on wasn't rhetorical. It was the one thing he genuinely didn't know the answer to. Whether the party would look at the data before the next election or wait until the wreckage was too large to explain away.